You look around and it feels like everyone else is rising. Their names are being called. Their platforms are growing. Their blessings are on display. And you're still in the shadows. Still unseen. Still waiting for the door to open that you've knocked on for years. You don't complain out loud, but inside the silence is deafening. You've served. You've obeyed. You've been faithful even when no one clapped. But the spotlight keeps missing you. And quietly, without saying it, you begin to ask the question you never thought you would. Did God forget me? But what if you're not forgotten? What if you're hidden? Not because you're unworthy, not because you're behind, but because you're being protected. There are things growing in you that can't survive public pressure. There are foundations being laid that can't be rushed. There is strength being forged in silence that won't crack when the light finally hits you. And maybe the delay isn't denial. Maybe it's design. You're not being buried. You're being planted. And today, we're going to talk about what God is doing in the quiet, while the world celebrates everyone but you. Because sometimes the spotlight is a test, and you're being saved for something weightier, something holy, something no crowd can steal from you. You don't hate them, the ones being celebrated. You clap when they win, you like their posts, you smile and say, I'm happy for you. And part of you is, but there's another part, a quiet, aching part, that wonders why your season hasn't come yet. You've done the work, you've sown seeds and tears. You've watched others skip the line you've been standing in for years. You try not to compare. You try to be patient. You try to trust the process like everyone says. But some days, you stare at the ceiling and whisper things to God you wouldn't dare say out loud. Am I invisible to you too? The hardest place to be is in between. Not where you were, but not where you thought you'd be by now. And it's in that space between purpose and promise where your faith gets real quiet, where you keep showing up with no applause, where you do the right thing and no one sees it, where your prayers feel like echoes bouncing off stone. But what if you're not being punished? What if obscurity isn't a curse, but a cocoon, where wings are being formed that only God can see, where your roots are digging deep so your future won't fall apart when the fruit finally comes? If you've ever felt buried by delay or forgotten in the middle of your obedience, hit the like button. Someone else out there is in that same quiet place, and your click is a reminder they're not alone. Because the next part will shake you. It's not just about waiting, it's about what can't happen yet if you shine too soon. There are spotlights that look like blessings but turn out to be traps. You don't hear this enough, but there is such a thing as shining too soon. You think you're ready for the crowd. You think you're ready for the stage. But what if that version of you, the one that exists right now, wouldn't survive what you've been asking for? Success can magnify what's unfinished. Fame can expose what's still fragile. The platform you crave can break the character you haven't fully built yet. Because when you're in the spotlight, you don't get time to heal in private. You don't get to grow quietly. Everything, every mistake, every weakness, every fear gets projected onto walls you can't hide behind. And so sometimes God says no to promotion, not because you're unworthy, but because you're unready. You're still learning how to stand before He lets others lean on you. You're still learning how to speak before He gives you the mic. You're still learning how to lose and not lose yourself. So He hides you, not to hurt you, but to protect what's sacred. The world rushes, but God prepares, and He knows that if you shine before you're secure, the weight of visibility might crush the light He's placing inside you. If this hits home, drop a comment, not a long one, just a still here. Let the others know they're not waiting in the shadows alone. Because the hiding isn't pointless. There's something happening in secret, and in segment 3, you're going to see why your silence is producing more than you realize. Silence is not empty. Stillness is not wasted. Obscurity is not absence. It's construction. Because while the world celebrates the visible, God honors the invisible. And in your hidden season, you're not being idle. You're being forged. In the quiet, you're learning how to stay steady when no one is watching. You're practicing self-control when applause isn't there to reward you. You're becoming someone that success won't intoxicate. While others are chasing clout, you're cultivating character. And that is not something you can fake in the spotlight. You are learning how to endure without being noticed, how to obey without being validated, how to serve without being celebrated. And that strength, that's the kind of strength that doesn't collapse when storms come, because it was built without shortcuts. You've been surviving what would have broken others, and no one knows the half of it. You've held things together with bruised hands. You've stitched your own wounds with shaky fingers, and you still showed up, still gave, still poured out, and that is holy. If you're one of the silent builders, click the subscribe button, not for vanity, but as a personal commitment to keep becoming even when no one sees you yet. Because in the next segment, we're going to uncover the real reason you've been hidden and how God plans to reveal you at the exact moment you're ready. When God hides you, it's not punishment, it's precision. Because every calling has a clock, and every purpose has a moment that cannot be rushed or delayed. You've been feeling late, like the years have slipped by unnoticed. Like your best chances were missed. But what if you're not behind? What if you're exactly on time, just on God's time? The moment of unveiling isn't decided by popularity, not by followers, not by trends. It's decided by the weight of what you're carrying. Because what's born too early comes out fragile, and what's revealed too soon gets destroyed by exposure. So God waits. He waits until your roots can handle the height. He waits until your scars are sealed, not still bleeding. He waits until your identity is grounded, not built on other people's validation. And when he reveals you, you won't have to force it. You won't have to beg for it. You won't even have to announce it. Because it will be undeniable, you will walk into rooms that used to reject you and they won't recognize you. Not because you've changed your face, but because you've grown into your full self. And when the time comes, God doesn't just expose you, he establishes you. So don't panic in the hiding. Don't rush the unveiling. You're not being delayed, you're being developed. And if this whole message has reminded you that you're not lost, just hidden, share this video with someone else who's still in the shadows. They need to hear it too, because the wait has a purpose. And in the final segment, you'll understand the kind of person you're becoming. By surviving the silence, they'll think you came out of nowhere, that you just suddenly rose, that you got lucky, that you were discovered overnight. They won't see the years of tears behind your smile. They won't know how many nights you doubted everything and still kept going. They won't realize that your strength was sculpted in silence. You didn't just survive the waiting, you were refined in it. And that makes you different. Because you don't need the spotlight to feel valuable. You don't need applause to know your worth. You don't chase attention. You carry depth. You're not a trend. You're not a moment. You're the kind of soul God builds slowly because your foundation isn't made for fame. It's made for legacy. So if you've been hidden, if you've been overlooked, if you've been praying in quiet rooms with no response, hold on. Your silence is not the end of your story. It's the soil from which everything beautiful is about to grow. Because the world notices noise, but God anoints quiet. And when it's finally your time, you won't have to fight for a seat at the table. You'll realize he was building the table around you all along. If this resonated with you, if you're one of the hidden ones still holding on, drop a comment below with the words, "Still standing." Let others know they're not alone in this season. And don't forget to subscribe for more messages like this for the unsung, the unseen, the unshaken.